Oh, man.
I'm not 22. Actually.
Yeah, you are.
23.
Yeah, you are.
Mitchell was 19 years old when that song came out.
Yeah.
Mitchell was just getting his first legal drink when that song came out.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was great. That was, it was that song when I got my driver's license, and I, got my dad threw me the keys from the porch, and I caught him with a fucking kung fu grip, started the car, and that song was on, and at the time, it was my favorite song. Oh, man. And then after that, Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication came on, which was also one of my favorite songs, because, you know, angst.
Yeah, Surfer Boy angst.
Surfer Boy angst. Do some heroin and wear dick sock angst. I didn't do any of that, but I could have.
JDM, bro.
Oh, antisocial, bro. I have an antisocial car with a spoiler on it. How antisocial can I be? You don't want to see me take this.
I'm sending a lot of mixed messages out.
I have a front-wheel drive car with a spoiler on it.
Oh, man. I really need this extra torque.
What if that was just a dad?
What
What if that was just a dad who got that car for like really, really cheap? He used to drive it around. He's like,
Yeah, from the impound lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
God,
pretty
it
true.
went up for auction.
3 women were raped and murdered in this Honda.
Jesus.
He only paid like $1,300 for it.
It was
It's
free.
God damn it! I hate driving.
They're like, this thing is carry-ass... No, what is that movie? Stephen King book.
There's so many.
One with the car.
Annie? Oh.
Annie.
No. fuck
Christine. Thank you, Mitchell. You were the quickest.
You little shit.
Damn, I'm the mink today, baby. I'll
Good
fucking...
movie, though.
It is. I'll take it.
Did you just start recording or what, dude?
It's
It's
been.
on the roll.
It's
It is?
been.
Oh.
Man, you think...
We're live!
We're live! Nitro
That was
Ride.
Nitro Ride.
Nitro riding. Even though Todd got what?
I didn't get a Nitro.
Yeah, what'd you get?
We can't say the name.
It doesn't matter, but make up a name.
A purple left-handed overhead Japanese monkey knot.
That's fucking... See? And that's why we can't say the name.
Because to keep me guessing for new random... We can do that every time.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
God,
sipping
I can't
down
say shit.
on a fucking
What are you drinking?
blue-bellied fucking gizzard of whatever was left over from under the sink chemicals.
Oh.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah,
TM,
they're good.
Trademark.
Yeah. Under the sink chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh man, the
It'd be fun to
opposite
start,
of a
like, restaurant
holistic
like that,
ritual.
Like all the names are just fucking ass hat backwards.
I'm so down.
So I was talking to Matt
About
the other day about
The other day.
the other day.
About like going through puberty as a dude, as a boy.
As a boy.
And I want to see how you relate to this, because for us, like we kept finding that the girls that we were like fooling around with, you know, discovering ourselves with, were like way more blasé about shit than we were.
Oh yeah.
Like they would like go for shit, like try to make moves while their parents were still around.
Oh yeah.
And did that happen to you too?
Oh God. Oh God.
Stop the show.
I had to do some swift maneuvers because Matt was talking about this, about you talking with Matt about that. And
So you've had ample time to come up with your answer.
I'm ready.
Okay.
And I didn't. It's just as fast as it is now. I had my girlfriend over. I was 13, and she taught me everything I needed to do. Down from, she's like, oh,
You were
need
13? Damn.
yeah, getting blowies in the fucking shed.
dude.
Oh man.
Wow.
That's nuts. You were a baby. You were a child.
Yeah, well, does my face look any different? I have a mustache.
true, yeah.
That's about
That's
it.
about it.
I have a mustache and wrinkles now.
None of us have
You don't
evidence
really,
that
you
that's
do. We got
natural.
more wrinkles than you.
It's my forehead. If you look at my forehead, you'll know.
Like all of your
Yeah,
all of
it's
your
a
age
fucking
comes out.
accordion.
Yes,
A-
so
a-
true, dude.
a
Every
fucking
time you raise
compressed
your eyebrows, I hear like
Mm.
14 different notes come out of your yeah.
But nevertheless, the fabled first time my mom caught me doing anything with a girl, she decided that she was gonna just kind of like, we were in my bunk bed and the door was open, strict door open policy.
Who was in the other bunk? Was it?
No one.
You
It
just
was,
had a bunk bed?
yeah. Well, Preston, my little brother, was but he wasn't in the room.
Okay.
We're watching something, and she starts wrestling my little fits out of my pants, and I'm like, fuck yeah! So I like put my pants down.
And
to,
nobody's
like,
home?
And no, my parents are home. My parents are like literally watching TV on the opposite side of the wall.
But you're down?
But, oh yeah, I'm down.
Oh, see, that's where we.
But it's because she was in control. I thought that she was
You're
going to
like,
shepherd me to green pastures.
I'm not going
I'm
to
not.
get in trouble.
I'm not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then my mom, you know, she peeks her head around the corner, and she sees a flurry of movement,
Ooh.
and she goes. And I immediately do that thing where I try to push my dick as far away from my mother as possible.
Oh,
you know, it's like, oh no, and I kind of try to like.
I tend to do the opposite. I
And-
try to push my dick towards your mother
Yeah,
as
yeah,
much
yeah.
as possible.
That's what she's been telling me. She goes, all Todds are the same.
Oh man.
And so I'm trying to conceal the fact that all this is happening, and she's
Yeah.
well aware. She's like, okay, we're gonna go. I'm like, okay, I'll be out there. And she's like, okay, I'll just wait.
Oh god.
And I did this kind of.
I
I did this kind of commando roll,
Yeah.
and like as I was
Perfect
falling out of
form.
perfect form, falling out of bed, pull my pants up before I exit the blanket,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on my hands and knees, putting my shoes on like I'm a goat.
That's exactly how goats put their shoes
Yeah,
on.
dude, I'm telling you, if you've never seen a goat put its shoes on, it's look it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's diagrams. Yeah, and so got caught and got a nice talking to as soon as we dropped her off. And then we went to Six Flags the next day, and I had a really fun time.
With her? Or your family? Oh.
And my mom knew very well that I was a very sexually active young boy.
But you didn't bust your balls about it? at
Oh,
all?
she busted my balls about it.
Oh.
She's-
But not in a way that made you feel demeaned as a human?
No, my mom is
Pretty
a pretty open person with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was always allowed to have girlfriends stay the night and like.
Really?
Oh yeah,
As early as when?
as early as like probably like 16, 17.
That is fucking
They were able to
nuts.
stay. It was. I fucked 9 months.
That's so cool.
No, I didn't fuck until I was like.
Do you feel like that's the way it should be? Do you think that that's like parents should be like? Because I find my parents did the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, if she found
6
out
feet contact.
if
You
she
were
found
social
out-
distancing?
Yeah, dude. If she found out that I was even like masturbating, because one time I was at my friend's house, and it wasn't the first time she'd caught me cranking it, but we had like a family computer, right?
Oh, of course.
What the fuck?
Oh, that lady's the shit, dude.
Dude, what was that?
That was one of her mini poses.
That was awesome.
She heard us
Just
talking.
in the rain. She was like, but I was at my friend's house, and I was just discovering porn.
Oh yeah.
And we had like this little tiny family computer, this Acer, and I was like giving it a shot at that. I don't think they even had like incognito mode back then.
Oh, they did not. They had to, but they didn't.
Delete
They
everything.
deleted everything.
Yeah, fucking delete. Yeah, history button, but I didn't know how to do that very well.
Of course not.
But eventually I figured that out, and then my mom would come be like, "Where's the fucking history at, huh?" But anyway, I was in my friend's house. My mom called me, and she was like, "I found out that you've been watching porn on my computer," and it was like devastating.
Devastating.
Like, there's nothing. Everything is so incredibly embarrassing when you're like from the ages of 11 to 19. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And you fucking hear that while you're at your friend's house. Just everything is ruined. Like
Yeah. Shame.
I wanted to just die. Like I remember telling her, I was like, "Please don't come get me right now. I'm begging you. Like I can't even.
Like, I can't
even look at you right now.
Too much has already happened.
Yeah, but she came and got me, and that was like the trend, was that my mom was not okay with any of my
Fornication.
like, exploits.
Yes,
yeah, you know.
yes.
And I feel like that might have been like stunting to a degree. Do you think that I feel like it's akin to teaching that abstinence is the only form of safe sex, while like in sexual education or anything?
Yeah.
You know? And like kids are gonna fucking fool around.
Oh, kids are gonna fool around.
Kids are so gonna fool around.
And that's where I'm sorry, you can ask the question. I keep cutting you off.
no,
I'm
it's
such
okay,
a
dude.
bad.
It's
I'm a
a
bad
fucking
man.
conversation.
I'm a bad man.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Sorry, I'm just so my sexual exuberance just clouds my
dude.
mind. I can't
You're all
even
horny
feel.
right now?
I'm
You're fully torqued.
I'm torqued.
Just that fucking I think you should expect that kids are going to be thinking about fooling around as early as 14. But I was like looking at porn on the TV, like fucking Skinamax.
You're telling me you
Like,
didn't
at, like,
watch a
10,
Comedy
dude.
Central late night
Dude.
Girls Gone Wild commercial?
Absolutely.
Dude, they know better.
Mm-hmm.
Like
At 10 o'clock. Or
Yeah.
10 years old, I mean.
at 10 fucking clock, 10 years old.
Both, yeah.
No, yeah, exactly.
Until those commercials
No,
start coming on.
I I guess that sexual stuff, I've just never given a fuck. I remember one time I had this girlfriend for a while, and we dated for a little while, like over a summer, and then she moved to Oregon. We never really did anything, and she was kind of like not ready, and I respected that, of course, because I'm a good boy.
How old were you? Good morning.
I was probably, this is in high school, so I was probably like 16.
Okay.
And I didn't lose my virginity until I was like 17 and a half. But she moved away, and then one night, I'm working at the pizza place, and she hits me up. She's like, hey, I'm in town, it'd be great to see you. And,
Badoing?
Well, I was like, oh, okay. And we get she gets dropped off at my work, and we drive to my house, and Casey's there, and he's playing Guitar Hero with my brother.
Oh, yeah.
And we just kind of slip into my bunk bed, and the whole way there, she was talking about like all the weird sexual stuff she had picked up, just throwing it out there.
She's like, I'm a big city girl.
She's
now.
like, I've been to Oregon. And the running joke was that her family all thought I was gay, because at that point in time I was seriously like talking like this, like
really?
I had been the gay guy.
You were very effeminate.
Seriously, with certain groups. I infiltrated to just be close to women and hear.
Like it was deliberate?
It was like I had abandoned all the groups I was in high school, because like I was bullied, and I would bounce around from group to group until like I realized that I had known enough people in every clique to be like popular, and no one bullied me anymore after like sophomore year.
So why the effeminate nature?
Because I landed with all the goth girls, and I was like cool with that. I was like, yeah, I'm an emotional fucking dude. And I would just hang out with them. They're like, oh, Tiffany, what's up? And I'd be like, yeah, queen, I'm fucking here.
Oh, I see.
And so I just ran with it. They knew I wasn't gay, but like we just kind of held it up. I played into it because like I had no interest in any of them. But it was fun to be a part of the girls for a little while.
I get that.
I really enjoyed it because like they would talk about the stuff like that like boys aren't allowed to talk about.
And it feels, it's kind of like exclusive.
There's
right?
exclusive shit
and
with
you
boys.
Feel like you're a part of like, oh shit, I'm in a club right now.
Well, it's like you could talk about your emotions. You could talk about the thing.
Instead of being like, hey, bro, when you're fucking 15 years old.
Yeah, and like all the like, how fast can you chug a Monster Energy drink? And then,
He goes, I'm kind of sad today.
I'm gonna go play video games.
Yeah.
Crying, you pussy.
But yeah, pussy. But but either way, I invited her over, and we're laying in my bed, and they're playing Guitar Hero, and we just fucking fucked right there with them sitting on the bed. And
what?
I didn't
in the
care.
Same room?
Oh yeah, they knew. I didn't give a
God
fuck.
damn.
I don't give a fuck.
God bless you, Mitchell.
I know that's kind of rude, but that's like there's something about that duality of me sexually is like me sexually is such a different person, and being able to like accept and I just accepted that from an early age. Like I'm just not gonna care. It doesn't make me a deviant, but it I don't know. I guess I was just never chastised for it. And I was always polite to women. I never was running around fucking chicks for no reason. Like they were my girlfriends, or I had proven myself to their families as like being a nice dude. But my first sexual, like who I lost my virginity to, I had a key to their house. I was allowed to come over whenever I wanted. I just would walk in the front door and go crawl in bed with the daughter.
That's fucking awesome.
And they would just come in. Oh, hi, how you doing? She's in the room. Just go ahead.
Well, do you think that her parents? Because I find, there are like, there's no like prerequisites to be a parent, right? Like,
anyone can be a parent.
Dumb parents.
People be coming.
Yeah, but
and not all people can shepherd the cum out into the world.
Shepherd the cum.
Shepherd the cum. But everybody has gone through puberty.
Yes,
that is something.
Most.
Matt's like, I'm still counting.
Working on it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. But since everybody has gone through puberty, everybody at least has that reference point. Like everybody still has that in the back of their head.
Yeah.
So even if you're kind of a dumb person and you have a child, I feel like everybody would be at least superstitious of what their children are doing at that age. And maybe it was so long ago that you don't remember how early it kicks off. Like, you're probably anticipating it around 15.
Yeah.
But if it comes at like 13, that could be shocking.
Yeah.
And it can kind of pull the rug out from underneath you. And maybe that's why.
Like, as a parent, it'll jar you.
Maybe that's why they let that shit like that happen so young.
Well, who raised you? Who raised them? Mm-hmm. And you just follow it back. Like, what's acceptable in your family? Mm. Or you come from a religious background? Do you come from... Like, or did your parents stop going to church and then had you, and now you're allowed to view new things? Did they, it's wherever your parents are in their development. And I'm noticing more and more that, like, when you're born, you're kind of a crystallization of the energy of that relationship at that time. Like, what's going on in your parents' life kind of crystallizes with you. And
even
they see you,
parent.
Even if it's one parent. Yeah. And it's like, do you know both of your parents? Is that what your mom's trying to protect you from? Is it like, this is what I experienced, and I need to protect you. I need to make sure that your sexual nature doesn't disrupt your life, because it can. I know how powerful hormones can be, and if I just keep you safe from it, everything will be okay. When in reality, it's kind of the opposite. Yeah. It's like, if you're sexual, you're gonna figure it out. It's not like you're gonna wake up some mornings and your pants are full of goo, and you go, wow, I wonder what this is.
Yeah. Anyway, time to go play kickball.
Yeah, time to play kickball.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just depends on what, like you're saying, like, you can be any person who has a kid. Doesn't mean you're gonna be good but you could be good at other parts of being a parent. But the sexual stuff is just taboo. Taboo things get misconstrued and alter people in a really weird way. Like, sexual stuff is so chemical. Yeah. That
and anything that happens early on in your development is going to leave such a long-lasting impact. And
totally.
It's so, like, evil that happens at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because sexual experiences, on the whole, regardless of where you're at in your age, I think, leave a pretty long-lasting impact. And then anything that happens during that, 12 to 19 stage is also going to leave a really long-lasting impact. And for them to both start off at the same... I mean, well, in all honesty, the reason why they're tied together is probably why that stage is so developmental for you. Is because
you're making the shift.
It's your first sexual experience. Yeah. It's like, what else happens you're in high school, and you're probably being presented with, like, some opportunity for the first time in your life. Yeah. Maybe people are asking you what your plan is, and thusly you're realizing that you're capable of going out and doing shit and being productive and potentially helping the world become a better place. But I think more than that is that you are learning what sex is. And that a sex is a very adult thing. Yeah. But it's something that, once again, if your family is not open to it, it becomes something that you want to know about even more. It's like, don't. Yeah, that's true. It's the restricted section.
Yeah, I'm going to get a cookie from the cookie jar. What's up in there? I know something. I know it tastes good. Yeah. Everybody
wants a fucking cookie.
I've heard murmurs of cookies. Yeah. I'm going to fucking figure it out.
My buddy Tony just had a fucking cookie, and he told me that it's the coolest thing ever, and everybody's treating him really, really, in a very unique way. Yeah. Completely different from the rest of us, because he's having cookies every other night.
Yeah. He's been eating cookies since he was 15.
Dude, he ate a cookie before any of us.
Now he's 30 and has diabetes.
Oh yeah, and he cries a lot. But
oh man,
I don't know. I think I'm trying to think what else is so strange and new during that period when you're going through puberty. Besides, well, I mean, I don't know. That's what puberty is preparing you to have sex and to procreate. So that's probably the whole of it. Maybe people should wait. Maybe middle school should happen from 6th grade to like 10th grade.
Like it's an unstoppable force, though.
Yeah. Well, the point that I'm trying to make is that we should hold off on, like, maybe the age of consent shouldn't also be the year that like all of the opportunities are opened to young people.
The floodgates open. Yeah,
like
and then
maybe
you're
high school
here.
should end when you're 20. You know, and that's
It very well could.
Yeah, but I just think like, okay, you've had your fucking fun, you know, like you from the ages
You've
of,
sowed your wild oats.
exactly, and hopefully you figured some shit out, and now we're going to release you a couple years later. Like now you're able. What's some stuff that there's the age of consent. You're 18. What other shit can you do? You get
You can
you have a car now, probably.
You used to be able to smoke cigarettes. Well, depending on where you are, you can still smoke cigarettes. That's a California thing.
But 18 is the age. Right? Like, that
18.
is like, okay,
well, you can go to the military. You can,
that's the one.
You can travel the world. You can do all this shit without a parent or guardian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're now
you can
free.
get your own,
You're your own person now.
Yeah. So maybe that should happen before high school ends because you still have the structure of high school, and on top of that, you aren't completely overwhelmed. Like
You just get a longer leash.
it's not like, okay, here's everything all at once right now.
But then there's the dilemma of if high school lasts until after you're already an adult, what stops you from saying fuck high school? I'm gonna leave. Nothing's shackling me here. Like the kids that turn 18 before their senior year's over, they don't have to stay. They can legally say I don't want to come, and they don't have to be forced to.
But how many kids do that? Right?
Enough. I know plenty.
I know
Enough,
as soon as
yeah.
they turn 18, they're like, oh, I'm done.
I know a couple too, but I would definitely say it's outside of the standard.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the fact that so many kids stay past 18 is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And if it was, I mean, it's all idealist.
Yeah. Well, of course.
But if high school was extended until you were 20, then the culture would probably follow suit, and it would be, more impressive or more, accepted for you to stay until high school ended rather than as soon as you turned 18. And maybe those last 2 years of high school, something is special is supposed to happen, or maybe senior trips happen on your senior year. Maybe some cool senior trips could happen when you're 20 years old.
The funding's there.
Maybe you don't have to go to school as often. Maybe it's that usually happens anyway, right? And people, their senior years and only taking 3 or 4 classes.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the same thing the last couple of years.
Totally.
Just to try to help this fucking
idealist
scenario play more to what we accept as what's okay, as what's digestible.
If you were anything like me and school was a fucking nightmare,
God,
and you hated it, every day you hated it, and looking down the track, and if I would have had to stay there until I was 20, I wouldn't have stayed.
Well,
you couldn't have gotten me to stay.
Maybe there's the difference between getting a GED and a diploma.
Exactly, or just going right to college, or doing whatever.
Maybe you could do that. Maybe instead of going through those last 2 years of high school, you can go
transfer into college.
Yeah, straight to college.
And that's kind of what I did in a sense. I failed English 4 years in a row. I took a college class for 6 months and made up enough credits to fix all those years.
Yeah.
Which showed to me that it was all a facade.
Yeah.
And it's all just... When the teacher comes to me and says, hey, what grade do you think you deserve? You have an F. And I go, throw me a C-. She goes, done. Have it.
Well, then what if people just start school... Well, I guess you can't start school later because you need to teach kids how to talk and walk
to be
and
a part of it.
Super early.
Well,
but... maybe school as we know it starts a couple years later and everything else stays the same. Age of consent when you can join the military and all that stays at 18. But you spend the same amount of time in high school, middle school, elementary school. But it's just that all of it starts a little bit later. And maybe that way, because I remember feeling, I don't know, there's so many fucking... maybe the brain is a little bit more developed and...
Well, is that the upbringing, or is this nature or nurture? Is this where the things that were forced upon you to, now you're 18, now you got to get a job, now you got to start the world, now this is this, and you have to do it. I had to do it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, go.
Yeah.
For me, my parents, they were like, we know school's hard for you. Yeah. Just get a D. Just get a fucking D.
Yeah, just get your diploma.
My mom was she's like, hey, just as long as you pass, I'm good.
Yeah. And after school, they're like, okay, you should think about getting a job. And I wanted to get a job.
Right.
I was like, fuck yeah, I can make my own money now.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you're going to pay rent. And I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're like, hey, fine, you don't have to pay rent. Like, my parents were very accommodating to me because they knew I was, like, sensitive and going through a bunch of weird shit.
Find out where your kid needs reinforcement or discipline.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you navigate that and you continue to, like, push and then recede, you find out where a child's limits are, right?
Yeah. Well, everyone's so unique.
Yeah. Seriously.
Everyone is so unique.
Yeah.
And you have, that's, if you're a very attentive parent, you can really shepherd them through that.
Yeah.
If you can look at your kid who's going through a hard time and say, hey, I don't understand exactly what you're dealing with, but I'm here for you, and we'll get through it together. You are supported. I don't have anything bad to say about what you're doing, because I don't know what I would do in your shoes either.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always had, and I try to give that to people because I know that's not common. There's a lot of like gumption to force your kid to, because you're so afraid your child's going to grow up to be a loser,
Right.
or a drug user,
or a fucking
sociopath, psychopath.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and you just got to be attentive. Kids don't need to be just forced into a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You have so much time. I mean, it doesn't matter when you start going a certain way, as long as it's you want to go down that way. There's something to be said about giving kids shit, because you give kids shit. Like, I'm 8 years older than my brother.
Yeah.
And me giving him a decent amount of shit has helped him. You know, just giving him enough teasing.
Yeah.
Enough, like, oh, you're really going to fucking do that? Like, do you think that's cool?
Yeah.
And just kind of prodding him, poking him. Not to make him belittled, but enough to give him like oh yeah, you know what? I am thinking about that now.
I'm not fucking Superman, maybe.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't look at it this way. Maybe that is my own echo chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, largely, like, you can try to prepare people as much as, and this kind of, like, loosely ties to your point, but you can try to prepare people or shelter them from experiences until you think that they're ready for them. But you really don't learn something. You don't learn how powerful an act or an instance can be until you experience it for yourself.
Oh, dude, fire hot.
Specifically negative ones.
Yeah.
Like, because I fall trees, right?
Yeah.
And I will think that I'm, like, pretty hot shit for a while. I'll think that I'm really good. I'll think that I understand. Like,
You got it. Look,
that I got it completely covered, right? And then I drop a fucking tree on myself, or I completely screw something up and I scare the hell out of myself. And now I'm humbled. It's incredibly important to stay humble, and I think it's more important to be humbled, because you take so much more away from that. And if everything's just fucking peaches and cream for you 24/7, you're not going to learn anything. Like, while I'm in that space, that mindset that I know everything, I know how all this goes, you get hurt, and you
hurt people.
You don't take in advice as well, because you're like, well, what really does this guy have so much to tell me? Even when in reality, it's probably a lot.
Yeah,
probably has.
Well, that's that youthful arrogance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why I think that, you know, like, parents should be encouraging their children to go out and experience shit.
Oh yeah,
because you can tell them to wear a condom or to not fuck until they're certain that you love this person as many times as you want, but until they have... you ever have a pregnancy scare before when you were younger, dude?
So many.
Oh my god. That changed my whole fucking life.
You know how many condoms I've worn since?
Dude.
Zero.
That's right.
Zero.
Get rid of condoms. Abolish them. That's my new platform. Come on. Have you worn a condom?
Come on the belly. Pull out. Come on the belly.
But you get my point.
I do.
Like, honestly, like, I probably didn't realize the importance of wearing a condom and all of that shit. Like, how like completely overwhelming a pregnancy scare can be until I had my own.
Oh yeah.
Sitting there puking it up, dude.
Yeah, dude, you're scared as fuck. You're like,
brings you straight back to religion.
I remember thinking, like, if this girl has a child, I'm going to kill myself.
I've been there.
Everything is so embarrassing and terrifying as a child that you like actually. You think that you're capable of doing that. You think that that's really your plan. Yeah. And
well, you'll make it your plan. It depends. There's a couple kinds of people, and when you're young and you're the dude who's about to have a baby, you think what do I do? What do I do? And panic sets in. Okay, what if I stay? And all your options are fucking. You're juggling all these options. You go okay.
And meanwhile, you got a fucking English paper due tomorrow.
Yeah. And now you're failing English because you've been fucking your girlfriend.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, trust me, I've been there, and it's weird. It's
hard. I remember getting like a sex ed class when I was in middle school, like my 7th grade or something, and I just didn't take it seriously.
Bucket's house.
Buckets lives here?
This is Bucket's house.
Oh, what's up, Buckets?
Buckets. Sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna fucking kill him. Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Now we can kill
Buckets. 2 blind corners on either side.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck was I saying? English paper due tomorrow.
Sex ed?
Sex ed, yeah. I was getting a sex ed class in the 7th grade, and like I just didn't take it seriously. I was making jokes. But that was my MO all the time. So
dude, I was hiding in my jacket.
Oh, fuck.
This is the last turnaround, really.
Right here?
Yeah, this is.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is the place that I went to once upon a time. If you guys remember that, I went here after that stuff with my grandfather. This place helped me a lot. But
I just remember working.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be. I would be surprised if half of the class paid attention and like took a lot away from that class. So maybe it has to be formatted in the right way. Like maybe if I had, I don't know, some kind of fucking cool dude come in that was like, hey, I'm going to say penis a lot. You guys are going to fucking laugh at that. Yeah. And he cursed. I would have worshipped the ground that he stood on when I was in the 7th grade. But I don't know, maybe it needs to just be structured in the proper way because you can't give it to them young when they really, really need it because I don't think anybody is confident
it's not
enough.
A preemptive thing.
Yeah.
But that's because sex is taboo and kids don't get told until they're already dealing with it.
So how early do you think that...
As my brother, I'm 8 years older than my brother. When I was in high school and I was in my sophomore year and he would be like, I don't know, whenever kids are asking why, what, and how's.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, he's like, where do babies come from? And I was on sexual reproduction and like cellular division and all that. And I'm like, oh, dude, come here. Huh. And I fucking showed him. Huh. And he goes, oh, that's cool. And I go, yeah, that's kind of like what your dick is for. And like my mom and dad came in, they're like, yeah. And then they added their little bits.
Yeah.
And we just shared right at the kitchen table. And he wasn't
nice.
disillusioned to the... Oh, someone's coming behind you.
I know, I see him.
He wasn't disillusioned to the these weird social stigmas.
Yeah, that's a beautiful life, dude. I think that... Oh, God.
And his whole life, he's been able to go, you know what? I'm a guy that's going to be careful. I don't want kids.
Yeah, because now he has this beautiful fucking upbringing and teaching.
Yeah, he has so much knowledge about it that it was never uncomfortable. It was always a choice he was able to make for himself.
That's so nice.
And no one could come in and disillusion him.
Right.
He had the scientific process right there on the paper. From the first time he asked the question.
Yeah, as soon as he becomes... Yeah, because I remember feeling like probably before my mom or my stepdad ever said anything. Yeah. You know, I remember feeling like it was something that I should repress. And it's too long ago for me to remember, but maybe I asked a question. Maybe I did something weird and my parents picked up on it. And that would have been the opportunity. Like, that would have been, okay, get in there, say something, uplift this child, make sure they don't feel like they have to hide anything. Yeah. And then they're going to be not so sexually stunted for the rest of their life.
Totally. Because it's something everyone's going to do.
Yeah. Because I don't know, 13 seems like the best age. Because my dad waited till I was like 15. And I had known about everything. Dude. Yeah, 15. I knew basically the debate. I knew, I got the actual terms.
Movie theater blowy by the time I was 12. I mean, come on.
Boom.
Yeah, boom. And like he's telling me all about, he's like, yeah, you'll be driving soon. You know, like you have all this ample opportunity to do. I was like, I've had ample opportunity already.
He's like, let's talk about sex. You're like, what do you want to know?
What do you want to know? Here's some videos to show you.
Yeah.
You're all, Dad, I've been getting over-unders, blowies. I've been getting it all.
You have problems with Mom, Dad? Here, let me tell you about it.
So, Dad, your sex life seems a little lackluster.
Yeah, you're like, Dad, it's time that we had to talk.
And my mom and stepdad didn't like attempt it. Like they made jokes about it, but I think they both knew. It was like, okay, he's
already there.
He knows stuff.
Yeah.
He's already got a girlfriend. Like, you know, and I think they both knew there's some stuff going on at least.
I think you do need to have the talk, but I think the way that you format it, and if it's unnatural and inorganic, that's what can be.
And it shouldn't be where they're trapped, because I got in a car on a 2-hour car ride.
Oh my God, that's not it. That's not it.
Well, why does it have to be a talk? Why can't it be the second you ask?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why does the environment...
That's still a talk, right?
Well, it is, but it's a conversation. It's not... You don't...
It's not like
kids...
I'm telling you, like...
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I know.
What do kids do? Kids rebel against ideas that aren't theirs. As soon as you corner a child and force feed them an idea, even if it's something they need to hear, want to hear, they're gonna be put off because you're in their space. It's not on their time.
It's true.
If a little kid comes up to you and goes, "Hey, why is this?" Why can't you answer that question?
But what if they never ask the question? And
well, then you can kind of move it along in that way. If you know that it's coming, you go, "Hey, how do you feel about this?"
Yeah.
And you can move it. You can feng shui. You can redirect it in a way that they are now talking about it. You know, like, if you just watch somebody, you can tell if they're uncomfortable or comfortable or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't take a fucking psychiatrist.
Feel the energy in the conversation.
And I don't know. Just if they don't ask, then you don't have to tell them.
Yeah.
But like, they're eventually going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's hard too, because like, I don't know, when I was like 8 or 9, I asked my mom. I was watching Ed, and Eddie up in my room, and they talk. There's that one episode, right, where there's like, how are babies made, and they all have these backwards idea and how it was done. And I was like, how are babies made? So I ran downstairs, and my mom's on some really important call. I just kept bugging her.
Oh God!
I was like, mom. She's like, hey, just no.
This is why you're still a virgin, isn't it?
Yes, I'm virgin.
Right here.
This is why I'm 36 and I'm still a virgin. And she's like, Mom, how are babies made? She's finally like, what? How are babies made? She's like, sex. And it gets back to the phone.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was like, oh, sex.
Oh.
What's sex?
Let me look.
Mom, what's sex?
Let me look this up.
Yeah, let me get on this computer and type up sex.
Yeah.
And then really it was really what it was. Like, me and my friend was like, hey, let's fucking check out. Look at Megan Fox. And then
look at Megan Fox's boobs on boobs.com.
Dude,
yeah.
Boobs.com.
Boobs.com.
Thank God for boobs.com.
And that it's so funny. It's the whole, I don't know why it's such a big deal. I've never understood why as the thing that humans do.
Yeah.
A core function of humans is to fuck.
Right. Well, I think that, I mean, you know, I try to stay away of like arguments that are in support of the way that society is running right now, because I do always like, well, what's the biology say? What are the products and byproducts of evolution, right? Because I feel like that's where everything should be. You know, shit shouldn't be managed super heavily, otherwise you run into problems where, you know, we're getting 1,000-acre forest fires and people are dying. But that's just super far away parallels. But anyway,
butterfly effect shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that, you know, because of where our culture is at currently, it should be something that is more thoughtfully approached.
Yeah.
Because it has the potential to prevent what we view as success. Like,
yeah.
You know, the obvious like material possession, but also if you have a child really young, maybe that prevents you from awakening in some spiritual fashion, because now 80% of your energy is devoted to
defending against this fucking thing.
Yeah,
or like sidestepping, or like
like just helping support this thing. It's all of your energy is now being a parent. Whereas before, maybe you had the potential to become, a Gandhi or something.
Well, that's what I was talking about with like you stay where you are. There's a crystallization when you have a child. And you look at that child and you know when he or she was born, you know what you were feeling, and that kid just you look at that kid with the energy you had. And like looking at the difference between how my mom deals with me and how she deals with my little brother, and the difficulties they have with my brother, because he's just he's a conflict individual. He always is pushing against. And I was just go with the flow, whatever, baby. Yeah. And so it's just always, they had this like, oh, we have to meet him at this. And him and my mom just butt heads all the fucking time.
Really?
It's such a funny thing, and I don't see that in my mom until I see them together. And then the next thing I know, I'm yelling at my parents because they're being assholes to my brother. And they're still the best parents ever, and he'll agree.
Yeah, right.
But they still do these stupid things. Because I feel there's this when he was a baby, and there was all this like conflict in their marriage, and like they were having a hard time, and like it just stuck. Yeah. And then there's this crystallization of in this person.
I see.
And like all those
up in conflict makes you conflicted, and
all those endorphins and all the chemicals that when you're in the womb are in you from your mom. Your mom is giving them to you. You are those emotions in develop, like there's like it has to do something. Like
I'm with you on that. I do think it has to.
You see it in babies that grow up with abusive fathers, and the mom got slapped around, and the baby's been the guy grows up and he's skittish. Well, I don't know why he's always been sensitive.
I think it's probably both parts, right? Like post birth, like all the things that you experience when you're a baby and a kid. But then the idea of those chemicals that are being swirled around in mama while you're being formed. Yeah. That's something that I haven't thought about before.
Well, you're comprised of your mom. Like, your mom's blood is your blood. Like, she made the whole fucking thing. Yeah. And until you're 7 years old, it doesn't all cycle out until you're your own actual fucking... It takes 7 years to really...
You're self-sustaining.
Until you've made... Your bones have made all your own blood. Like, all the cells are now yours. That's every 7 years.
Yeah, it's like every 7 years, all of your cells have like
regenerate.
Yeah. What is it? Fucking they're just like new cells. Or,
you've.
I don't fucking know. But
you've made a whole new person in yourself. Like you're your own new person every 7 years. But it's just I don't know. I feel like that people. I mean, like it's funny because you see it in people who are like anti-abortion, who are like that baby's alive and a thing right now. Yeah. And you have other people, no, it's just genetic material. Well, it is being comprised of all these things. It's already taking it in. When is it actually a thing? But that shouldn't deter you from getting an abortion if it's going to be raised continuously in this shitty environment. Yeah. That's what if you are letting yourself be abused, are you not both abusing that child while it's sucking up your shitty life as it's inside of you? Like, I feel like that's abuse. You know, if you can prove that a baby has a heartbeat by the time it's the size of a fucking peanut, you should be able to say that you carrying it to term
is abuse. Is
abuse.
Harm. Yeah. Huh.
Why not?
I like that.
If that's what you believe, then you have to take everything else that comes with it.
There's an argument for abortion for the people that believe that...
You stop at the taco stand.
Yeah, it's at the taco stand?
Well, it's not a stand. It's just the Lapa Lapa.
Yeah.
I need a burrito, but continue.
Get a burrito. Well, maybe that's an argument, in support of abortion for people that believe that that this is a life. This is an actual... Well, I don't know if I should even say that, but regardless...
But if from their perspective, yes, it is a life. It is feeling and...
Maybe abortion isn't quite such an evil action if you are removing...
Can I wear this mask?
Abuse from something. Yeah. If you're limiting abuse towards something that can't even retaliate in any kind
Exactly. If it's stuck with you, that's entrapment.
Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it.
Oh, I should have got another coffee. What?
What should you have gotten?
Another coffee.
Shit.
But you better not. Oh, he's gonna give me another coffee, that little fucker.
Oh yeah, you fool.
That big fucker.
You fool.
But what do you think, man? Because you only got the talk, and you said that you felt like you were trapped because it was a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, and it was like at that age, I didn't feel trapped because I didn't understand. But like I couldn't, I don't know, come up with that type of thing.
Was it 13?
At that time I was like 15.
Okay.
But even then I wasn't like, I don't know, dramatic in any sort of way. Like I couldn't like, everything was just how it was. That's just like, at that age, life was how it is. And that's how it was.
Living in the present.
Yeah, I was really just present, and like, one day I'll be rich. And
right.
that was it. You know, that was my plan for the future. I was like,
still ride off that a little bit.
Yeah. And but I don't know. It wasn't like anything detrimental. It's just like, I more just kind of like got confirmation, I guess. Like, okay, so I was right.
But do you think that there was a way that either your dad or your mom could have presented that conversation to you that would have been a little bit more, I don't know, advantageous to your growth or supportive? Like,
honestly, I don't know, because like at that age I really didn't care.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like rebellious, but I didn't give a fuck about anything. Like, if I was forced to do anything, I wasn't a happy camper. And but that was most of my life because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Was being told, oh, you're going here because of what we're doing.
You don't have control over anything when you're a child.
Yeah. And so it kind of sucked. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of a way where it'd be more healthy, I guess. A healthier way of doing it. But like, I don't know, man. Because I already knew, you know. So it's kind of hard to give a better answer on like what would have been better for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with the whole like you like maybe wait till they ask, but also like if it gets to a certain point, like I say from like 13 to 15, wait till they ask, and then from there it's like, okay, hey.
You think at 15?
I think 15 because like it's like they probably already know. But you should really reaffirm it.
But do you think that you shouldn't propose that conversation a little bit younger?
Maybe
less it.
It's not, if you can like see the signs, like okay, they're for sure in puberty currently, then I'd say maybe mention it, like even like just like that basic way, like hey, like we know what you're going through. If you have any questions, just you can come and ask us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like most kids like hear them like, yeah, okay, and then.
Well, I think every kid probably does that. Like I don't know if you're going to be able to help your son or daughter from preventing themselves from acting like that or reacting like that. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Because every kid is, you know, they've only ever been themselves. Every kid is convinced that they're at least as intelligent as their parents, even though there's so much more
youthful
experience
arrogance.
behind them.
Yeah,
it is the youthful arrogance.
I thought I was the shit, dude. I was like, I know what the fuck's
I
up.
was sure. I was like, I'm a main character, you know?
Yeah. I know how to figure out life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like,
I don't know, the way they did, like, I don't know, some people won't agree with the way they did it, but like, it worked well for me. I mean, I've been very...
You be fucking.
She do be fucking.
I've been very safe about it, though. Like, also, I wasn't out, like, just fucking whipping it out, commenting people. I was like,
that's good.
Like, I was like, okay, well, like, my girlfriend in high school, I was like, well, you know, if we are to do anything, we should...
Gotta wrap that shit up.
Yeah, you should be on control, and I'll wrap it up. And because I do not want a kid. And then, both... And we were both pretty safe about it. And then... Yeah, and then... Even then, like, still now, I'm pretty cautious, like... You know, if there's no form of birth control on either side, then I'm very wary.
I get that.
I think that what made me, like, I've always felt like I can talk to my parents. And I think that that's from just a young age. They've given me no reason to not. They've never they've never gone back on their word of, because some parents will go, oh, you can tell me anything, and then they fucking. And then it's rah, 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 it was a tiger trap, and now you're impaled and grounded.
They're already
in a hole.
pissed off from how shitty their day was, and then finally their kid comes up and is like, "You want to have this conversation with me right now?
You little fuck, go to your room."
They're living their whole lives. Maybe the house is about to be fucking foreclosed upon. You get the eviction notice, and then
now you knocked up. You're the neighbor girl.
Yeah, like, are you fucking kidding me? Just when I thought we were about to get our lives back on track, you go and throw this wrench in my whole process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no matter what my parents were dealing with, they always had a space for me to come and talk to them.
That's really cool, dude.
Like if you they're like, we know you're gonna do it all.
Yeah, you're a handsome little boy.
You're gonna probably drink. You're gonna meet girls. You're gonna do all these things, and we've done it, and we've probably done it worse than you.
Right.
And that's one of the most important. You just gotta. Everybody's human.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's the joke I always threw at my mom. So like, I knew she's told me a lot about her childhood and like teenage years and party years, and like she'd like always make jokes like what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I know exactly what I can get away with because I know what you've done. And then I was like, I can get away with a lot more than I've done because I can throw right back at you that you did the same thing.
Totally.
And I didn't do as much, or at the time at least. And but things are different now. But it's even then it's not nothing terrible. And I don't know, it's kind of cool now, like experiencing it more and seeing it more, like because I see a lot of things that happen in like or when I try new things, it's like I was like, oh, okay, this is something I can tell my kid about one day, right? Yeah, like this could be like a cool little life lesson for him, like, hey, you could probably fuck up like this too, but at least learn from me to do it differently. And then,
or like at least to just have the camaraderie of like, oh man, I remember when I fucked up so hard doing that exact thing. Yeah. Or something so similar. Like, it's just good to be able to. Kids don't want to feel like you're way up here and they're way down there.
Oh no, bring them up.
Bring them up. Like why you're not? I'm not better than you. You're your own. You haven't even. You fucked up way less than me. You just haven't had a chance to yet. Like, why am I making myself so superior? Like, you're going to be better than me at so many different things.
Right.
And I'm going to be better than you at so many different things. Like, I just don't like how a lot of people look at kids as like you can write off a child, but like, children are so fucking smart.
Oh, yeah.
To think that a child doesn't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have a fucking blind kid and he fucking will know what's going on. Just because he can't fucking see,
he's still figuring it out.
Don't mean shit. Yeah,
context.
He's still, exactly. Like,
yeah,
it's not like kids are dumb.
Yeah, well, I think one way I've thought about doing it, like whenever I get to that point where like I need to have that discussion with my kid, is like I'll probably just open it with a story from my childhood. Yeah, like from an experience that I had. Saying like, okay, well, it's just like maybe a long car ride or something, but which we just talked about. Maybe that's not the best place, but still,
it depends. Though.
It depends, and like how you bring it up. But like saying like telling like, oh, I remember when I was your age, this and this happened, and just a good story, and like that they could probably relate to. Yeah. And then like, and here's how this fixed it, and here's where I went wrong, and then here's where you can avoid this, and kind of like fork in the talk. The talk, pieces and bits in there throughout that story.
You don't have to fucking give it to them all at once. Yeah. I had to go through 3 different sex ed classes because I was in a school that everyone was a year ahead of me. So I started there at like 13, got sex ed, and then the next year I went back to another school and I got sex ed again, and then they did it again. And I by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I know all this.
I can do every fucking position.
I do push-ups on your mom.
How do you want it, girl?
Yeah, baby.
I'll rock
menu. Your world. But the last time it was great. The teacher had a dismembered deer penis, and she stimulated it in class and showed everybody.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, she fucking stimulated it in class. It's like, look at this. After post,
wow.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Nuts.
There was no nuts.
Cool.
But
no nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. Let me see if my food's done.
Okay. Bitter batter.
Great, now I gotta pay for that line.
We'll edit around that, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the way I'm gonna go about it. It's just like, just tell them a story from like the time I was their age, and then like fork in the bits and pieces of like the bits of the talk in there.
Yeah, just try to like
I won't give them everything
open
at
up,
once.
Make the environment a little comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to dip into that.
Share a few stories, and like each one will have like different things that they learn. And it's like, okay, cool. So so Dad went through this, and here's what happened, and here's what could have went wrong.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think
more beans, Poppy.
I do think that I'm going to
neuter your children.
Yeah, dude, you have to spay and neuter your kids.
Put them on a leash, neuter them,
because otherwise they start pissing all over the house and everything smells like little boy piss.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, dude, fucking hit the vacuum every single day.
Yeah.
But can we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a donut, baby.
It's a doughy?
Square doughy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to take Mitchell's parents' approach, just in the regard that, like, you can stay out as long as you want. You know, like my mom. That was something that my mom did that I would always really, really appreciated. Was like throughout my whole life, she would encourage me to go out and go make stories. So even as early as probably like 16, on the weekends I had no curfew, which was really cool, and I could go out and stay at my friend's house whenever, however long I wanted. And while I could never ever have a girl over, or if she found out I was fucking around and being in a lot of trouble, she still gave me the freedom to go and fuck off on the weekends. And, I mean, what I got out of that I appreciate a lot more than any sex story that I have from my adolescence is that I got to learn how to longboard, and I spent so much time hanging out with my buddies, and we discovered so much about life, and that was probably the most positively developing stage of my life is this summer that I had, wherein I was in a musical. I was doing D&D with my friends, the first D&D game I ever played, and on top of that, I had like no restrictions over the whole summer, and so I think it was like 16 or 17, and it was awesome. Like I was meeting all kinds of really cool people through theater and having sex with a lot of them, because that's what you do when you're a little kid. You're going to theater, and I learned how to like be respectful to women, and like I learned how to like navigate consent and ensuring that you have consent before you act, because all of these people that I were meeting through theater were A, older than me, and B, experienced in that field, you know, like they were all very progressive people. I think that that's natural. I think that typically people that are involved in theater one way or another are more on the progressive side of things, and they are also usually very sexually progressive, and so they were like helping me out when I was like 16, which was really cool, really good for me. And I wouldn't have been able to do all of that if I had some harsh restrictions. I read this book called Leaders Eat Last, and in it he talks about how in just like the first few pages, you treat people, you open with trust and with respect, and you are immediately met with like efficiency. You're immediately met with a better environment for everybody, because if you make it so, his example was that in this office, people had to go to this locker and check out office supplies in order to like get their work done, and while they weren't losing as many office supplies, they were finding that productivity were going way down, as along with their retention rate. And it's because the office had created this environment of distrust and of like forced security and all this negative shit. And I think it carries true in almost all aspects of life. You have to show people that you trust them. You have to open on that platform. You have to trust people until they give you a reason not to trust them.
Well, and that's why I was talking to Matt while you were draining the old lizard. Was that you can't put kids below you.
Yeah.
You can't start thinking that they're inferior, because they're going to perceive you as
like a tyrant,
as like either a tyrant or someone that is so high above them that they can't come to you.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, you
can't relate to you.
You gotta have an equal playing field. They're gonna be living with this person for the rest of your fucking life. That's what it's gonna feel like.
Yeah.
Why make it feel that way? You don't want to be the angry king, who's a shitty king, living in the same place with subjects that he doesn't trust, or doesn't like, or doesn't find them equal.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a king. You're just a dude with a kid. And trust me, your kid is gonna do the same thing to his kid if you do that to your kid.
Just, like,
domineering
this shitty cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta come at it with. You know, I fucked up so much as a kid, and I just want to help you not do what I did.
Yeah.
And that is such an olive branch. You know, you gotta have some humility with kids, because they pick up on that shit so
seriously,
goddamn fast.
You can admit that you make faults, you know. Ooh, look at this drifting. I feel like what's it called? Whatever. When you're able to like laugh at yourself and admit your own faults, self-deprecation. When you're able to be self-deprecating, I think that everybody is able to relate to you a little bit more.
It's much more human to fail than to succeed.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we drive to Cure?
To Cure, yeah, we can go to Cure. That's on. It's like on the way to the lake. On the way to the lake, right?
Just drive past my house and keep going.
And I wonder if, because we live in this small little town, I wonder what kind of impact that has on a child and their sexual development, and if it's a better or worse thing. I mean, obviously, there is less. Ideally, there is like a lower chance of them being kidnapped, right? Like,
well, not necessarily.
Fuck, I don't know. Because there's some benefits and some drawbacks, I'm sure. Setbacks of growing up in a small town when it comes to developing a kid. Well, I was always able to like run around outside all the time. Yeah. And I imagine that some people that are growing up in a city don't have that virtue, you know. I mean, maybe to an extent, but you can only go so far. But when I was a kid, I could like ride my little skateboard forever. I could go all over town, and maybe that's. I think a large part of that has to do with the fact that we grew up in a small town. Everybody knows each other.
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up. I'm pretty much a shut-in in my school life, but I had a huge family that's like totally supportive.
When does Cure close? We have a little bit of time. I'm wondering if we can go this way.
Yeah, you can go.
Go my running.
I'll look right now, but always having such a positive like family backing.
Yeah. And
never feeling like I didn't have a safe place. Like I always felt safe. My parents let me go walk.
Definitely.
Wherever the fuck I wanted to, because they knew that like the immediate area was safe, and that when I went anywhere it'd be safe because I was with people that were looking out for me. But like you can live in the country or in a small town and your family fucking sucks.
That's true.
And your parents don't trust you're not safe at home.
Yeah.
So I think it really
depends more so on.
I think both options of being able to like have that opportunity to run around outside, or being safe at home. Yeah, there's so many overlapping parts that you get the same thing from. Like I don't know, because like I know a couple of people that are really well developed, well-rounded people that pretty much learned like connection skills from playing Xbox Live. Like they know how to talk to people just fine. They know. But their house is so safe. Yeah. Outside has always been the danger. You might live in a shitty part of town, or because like people in Ukiah, if you live on laws, dude, you don't get to go play outside. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Nope.
Laws is a scary place.
It is.
But yeah, I think that's a. Have you seen those videos on YouTube? I think it's like one guy.
There's videos on YouTube.
Dude, have you ever seen a video on YouTube?
I've never.
There's I think it's like one guy, but he meets with people in like the VR chat.
Yeah.
And he's been doing. I've only seen the little like advertisements for a couple different videos, but the ones that I've seen, he's like talking to soldiers with PTSD on like VR chat of all things.
Yeah.
And so that's another cool little thing that's coming out of video games, dude. Video games.
Orgasm Girl, dude.
Orgasm Girl?
You don't even know.
What are you talking about?
Bring it back to fucking being a pubescent little boy.
Oh, dude, playing porn video games?
Going on Newgrounds.com.
Oh my god. What was that? What the fuck was that, huh?
Newgrounds, dude?
Dude, oh my god.
Newgrounds had all the porn games. It had Orgasm Girl, it had all... Well, Orgasm Girl...
like the weirdest shit.
No one could beat Orgasm Girl. Because so like the backing of this game, like the story is you're a guardian lesbian angel. And you have to sneak into sexy women's houses.
Finally, a good fucking,
and give them an orgasm.
Good fucking video game.
I know. with items like scented candles.
Wow.
And massage oil.
That must have taught you a lot.
No.
That's how I know.
No. It taught me that if you're a woman, it's okay to sneak into another woman's house and finger them.
But as long as you have a scented candle.
Dude, scented candles plus 5 to sleep. I learned that you could creep on women in their sleep.
Oh, God.
And, that's a move I continue to
Maybe that's another reason why you need to have that talk a little bit earlier with your kid, is because they can run into some weird shit.
Fetish shit, dude.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that I remember being young and, like, looking at just weird shit online and not even being, like, aroused by it any kind of way. I'm just like, what the fuck is it? And if my parents, like... were a little bit more deliberate with the fucking helping me navigate that space, I probably would be better set now than before, because I saw some
your parents
weird
probably
shit,
haven't
dude.
seen that either.
I would
that's the thing, though.
That's probably true.
Dude, the internet...
That's true. We're growing up with the internet,
we're the first generation to really have internet.
That's true.
Accessible to teenage boys?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude.
Crop your kids' feet, kids.
Yeah, dude.
Whoever's listening to this, crop your kids' feet out of pictures.
Oh, dude, fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Dude, it's so gnarly.
You fucked me up, dude.
We got to see cartel beheading videos.
That's true, I remember that.
We got to see...
fucking killing
2 girls, 1 cup.
2 girls, 1 cup. Tub girl.
The worst one.
Yeah, dude. All of them.
Damn, you don't even know.
That's
the kind of shit. And now we get to bring this knowledge into our kids.
You'd be like, hey, dude.
And
listen,
so, hey,
listen, you're gonna. There's some
watch
weird
this video,
son. So this website, I will guarantee you, doesn't have any fucking trafficked women porn on it.
That's true. That's why. So
this isn't real.
Yeah.
This is a scenario that is being. You got to educate your kids because they have the ability, because you have the ability,
because they can grow up thinking. I'm pretty sure that was something that really fucked me up when I was young. Is I grew up. I watched porn before I had ever done anything with a girl.
Oh, dude.
And well before I had any kind of conversation with my parents.
You've seen developed breasts.
Yeah.
In full 4K.
And weird shit. Yeah. Online. And I think that, like, this is what sex is,
This is amazing.
In my fucking little... No, dude. And then you finally meet up with a girl, right? And then your only point of reference is this shitty, scary-ass porn. Yep. And, like...
But as other dudes, you just have to talk about how cool porn is.
Right. That's true,
And if you
can't be like, hey, porn's weird and scary. The porn I keep seeing is really weird and really scary.
They go, you just need to find the right porn, dude. And then you're like, okay, I guess I have to delve back into this.
Yeah, navigate that space a little bit more on my own.
On my own.
I'm not saying parents should be watching porn with their fucking kids. I think that's something you should probably,
Yeah.
I don't think you should watch that shit together.
But that's the whole thing of like, oh, your son, you throw a nudie mag at your son.
I guess that's
And you
true.
go, but I've deemed this material worthy. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old 1970s one, dude.
That's what
it's a flash drive now. You blow it off and throw it at your son.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Who the fuck uses a flash drive anymore for anything? Dad, you fucking nerd. That's the same equivalent.
But that's the equivalent of like there's Hustler, and then there's Playboy. There's XXX Splooge
all
Girl.
Kinds of crazy ass scary.
There was all this fucking gnarly paper porn.
Yeah.
That was all right there for us for our parents' generation to grow up with.
True.
And that was insane.
Yeah.
Because in the 50s, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was classy.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about it.
Right.
Because
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
Well,
but you could also hit your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a little more standard.
That's between you and God and your wife. You owned it. Women were still being shepherded as items at that point in time. And that was our grandparents.
Yeah, I've seen some videos from the 1950s and of movies of like you know how it's pretty commonplace for like slaps in movies to just be real.
Yeah.
But punches and shit like that is all fake.
It's all staged. Yeah.
But if you see a video from like the 40s or the 50s, a movie from the 40s or 50s where there's like supposed to be domestic abuse, there's a guy, they would fucking like wail on her.
Oh yeah.
It was nuts. You could tell that it's real beatings, and it was so commonplace for men to hit women back then that was what was expected of women that were in cinema, to just have their fucking asses beat behind the camera.
Straight to the moon.
Yeah, straight to the moon.
I'll fucking punch you to the moon, bitch. Yeah, and we all know that, dude. And it's like, we look back on that as like, oh, the golden age of television.
Yes, the good days.
The good days, when you could just hit your wife.
Well, there are some good movies that don't centralize around.
But look at the liberation of how much more commonplace it is to hate men that beat women, or to disrespect, to not just disrespect women in general. Like, of course, like that's all like feminist movement and all those things, and like trying to become like, hey, like don't fucking hit us, we're not objects. Right. Like, you don't have that kind of power over us. And I get all that, and it's fucking, I'm glad that like through all that we've gone through as a fucking civilization, we can all agree that, yeah, maybe hitting women wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And the internet has taught us that, like, yeah, maybe 2 Girls, 1 Cup isn't cool.
Isn't what people should be watching.
And...
Yeah, especially fucking kids.
Maybe R. Kelly videos, or hearing about all these because you hear about all these sex tapes growing up too. That was something we grew up with, is like all these scandalous sex tapes.
Yeah.
Like
Kim Kardashian.
We hear, okay, R. Kelly peed on somebody. Do I need to pee on people? Is that normal?
Yeah.
Why isn't it normal?
That
What's
was
going
my point,
on?
Was that like you have access to literally all porn if you have any kind of internet connection, and there's no like automatic filter. I mean, you're not going to advertise a porn site as something that's kid friendly, Yeah. You can't. You're not be like 16-year-olds. If you're figuring out what porn is, you should watch this shit.
Are you 18? Don't come in here.
18, don't come in here. And then that's them covering their own asses, right?
Knowing farewell.
Yeah.
It's
a click, and it doesn't mean shit.
Oh, everyone knows that kids are the main proprietors of what you're watching on the internet for porn.
That's true. Yeah.
Fucking from 16 to 18 is just a jizz wonderland.
Just fucking nightmare. And I think we were talking at some point about how we're coming into an age where there's a good amount of media that is in support of embracing your womanhood, right? Yeah. I shouldn't even say that because I haven't seen a lot of them. I don't really know, but
you hear it in music. There's music like girl power.
Yeah,
girl power is like
Lemonade or whatever for the Beyonce album.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like Sister of the Yaha, Traveling Pants and shit like that.
There's Bruce Jenner, Woman of the Year.
Well, yeah, there's whatever, but there's just a lot of pieces of media that are about like
empowering women.
Yeah, and I fucking love that. I'm so happy, and I think that there should be more coming out right now than there are examples of in the past because of how poorly treated women. I think there's some reparation to pay there, But the Fight Club author, I think it was, talked about how there's not quite as many of that for men, especially like coming into manhood.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what he was kind of like advertising Fight Club to be. Like, while it's kind of, I don't know, it's a very violent book, and there's a lot of other themes that are going on. He also talks about
real fucking violent too.
Yeah, he also talks about like, men, like, violence is maybe this thing that should be explored. Like, there's a reason why so many people tune in to watch fights, right? Yeah. And why it's like predominantly male-viewed and male-viewed sport. Like, there's a lot of dudes watching MMA and UFC more than women.
Yeah.
And that's what he talked about. Like the female pieces of meat. Should we go through the drive?
That's fine. I can go in.
Okay.
I'm just gonna grab some gummies. Gummy.
Hey, I'm not going to work tomorrow.
That's what. Even you guys want to come in? I can. I don't have another mask. I only have your mask.
You have my mask.
There are?
Wow. Look at Todd go. Where's my mask? Do you have my mask? It's underneath. Can we pause this? Or
we'll just. Yeah, hang on.
Leave it recording?
Yeah, just leave it. A short word from our sponsors.
Yeah. Silence. Oh, and on my wallet anyway. Whatever.
fine. Who needs a wallet? Oh, you need your ID, though. Oh, Todd, monologue time. Todd, you're not even monologue.
I started to, dude. It was so hard. It's so hard to do that.
What were you saying? Replay it.
Yeah, what exactly were you saying?
I just started talking. I was like, yeah, like I'm very glad that there's like more movies and songs going out and encouraging women to embrace their femininity, and then I just like choked and I was like, dude, this is fucking hard.
Quick, turn the radio off.
When there's no soundboard, you know, and there's nobody to bounce shit off of, it's hard to keep talking for a while.
It is. All right. But yeah, no, I'm glad that there's the thing about music from like that. Yeah, it's a man's world kind of a thing, and unfortunately it is. But it's not like men like it the way it is. Like the men in my social group are pretty fucking understanding that it's still skewed in a shitty way, and that this ooh-rah kind of like toxic masculinity thing is real, and it's what's being sold in a lot of these songs. And
that was somebody's counter argument was like, well, there are lots of movies about men and like bands of brothers coming together.
Oh, of course.
And I was like, yeah, but think of one that's outside of the context of a football team or Marines, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that being the thing, it's like, okay, we're aspiring to be these things, but for the kids that aren't those things, there's not a place for you.
Yeah, it's hard to embrace your masculinity when you're somebody that likes to play trombone, you know?
Yeah,
or doesn't like to play sports, or it just prefers theater even.
And that's the whole thing. It shouldn't be, because it shouldn't be so heavily, like it's taught in schools, like growing up. All the fucking arts and music and things like that get pushed to the wayside because they just don't make enough money. Because you can get everybody in homecoming to come to the football game, and yeah, sure, they see the band come out, but that's only a few seconds. Yeah. The band isn't the moneymaker. It's the sports team that pulls people in, and you get money for the school because they don't get fucking funded, and that keeps the schools keep getting further docked money to do things with. So of course the things that already work don't stop if it doesn't work. Keep cutting the shit that
isn't pulling in any money.
Yeah, that isn't pulling any money. So kids are using Crayolas in their fucking senior art class. Yeah. It's shitty. But I'm glad to see that like the shift is happening, and sometimes unfortunately a little overzealously that like, oh, I'm a feminine man. I'm an ally to women. It's like, you don't need to be, of course you shouldn't have to say it. You should be, you're a human being, and I see you as a fucking equal, which is what all feminists want, or is what the goal is at the end of the day, is we want to be equal, see us as equal. And I feel like some people don't, like some women take that creed and they go, no, it's not good enough. We need to be, you know, it's a platform to do whatever. And some dudes get behind that and support those people because they just wanted, like, I don't know. Well, that's off on another tangent.
Yeah. Well, I did hear recently, like, because it can be kind of annoying, right? When anytime any kind of political viewpoint is being broadcasted on a channel that you follow for different content, right? But somebody told me recently about how important it can be to utilize your platform to support the disenfranchised that can't get a platform.
Oh, of course.
And one of the beneficial things about Instagram or YouTube, at least to my knowledge, right, to my limited perspective, is that there isn't an obvious bias towards one complexion or another when it comes to its algorithm, when it comes to what it's presenting in front of you. I mean, maybe it's going to show you more of the political opinion that you already align yourself with, but other than that, it's not like you're going to only ever see white people in your feed. Or you're only ever going to see, like, really...
Unless you're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, unless that's something that you're already kind of feeding into. Yeah. But, and so maybe in that sense, you know, that could be viewed as a good thing. Maybe the people that are more disenfranchised are being given a platform to kind of advertise their shit, to reach out. Yeah. Like I get a lot of shit in my feed that is like how to communicate with somebody with this particular disability.
Yeah.
You know? Or like memes that are like, please don't fucking squat down when you're talking to me, like people that are in a wheelchair, you know?
Yeah.
And that shit's all like very enlightening. And
it is.
But while it can be annoying to be fed some shit that you don't want to hear from somebody in particular, I try to hold on to that in my back pocket. Like,
yeah, no, and I don't mean to come at it like that's what the agenda is, but that people pick up these agendas and run with them for their own purposes, and if they have a big enough following, then they get people running off those their version of what it is.
Yeah,
of
I'm
like,
gonna get gas,
this is,
and then we'll concede to this. We'll finish this.
Sounds good.
Post gas.
Post gas.
Yeah.
Oh, post gas.
Go ahead.
It's just people running with it's and to tie it back into like masculinity and all that. It's like that's what football teams are.
Right.
To the rest of the school, it's like, oh, we're running with that narrative.
Yeah.
That's what a man is. Like, oh, you got to get on a sports team because that's the only way to learn to be a brother and a comrade and whatever.
Yeah.
When you could be sitting and be the fucking first chair violinist, and you need everyone behind you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about you acting as a unit. But we don't get to see that part of it. We just get to see, well, that's not risky enough.
Yeah.
It's like, you tell me when you hit a flat note in the fucking choir, that isn't scary to people. Or whatever. But like those people don't get promoted. Like that the more articulate people just kind of fall to the wayside. Or like the more effeminate boys.
Right.
And there's not music for us. There's not a platform for that. Or if there is, it's such a closeted platform because you go and you try to talk about it with certain dudes, with like alpha dudes pushing male energy. And
that are like promoting and victims to this idea of toxic masculinity.
Well, that you're trying to impress. Like everyone wants to impress the alphas. Like, not everyone, but that's like.
Well, I've got to agree with you on that.
Yeah, you want it. You're like, fuck, you're impressive.
Yeah.
Here's what I do. Is that impressive?
Yeah.
They go, pussy.
Right.
No, that ain't shit.
Yeah.
And you wither a little bit inside, and no one talks about that because that isn't important. Because you're not an alpha. You need to conform. Because if you want to make it, you need to fucking pull yourself up. Like, don't be doing this pussy violin shit. You don't get girls with violins, bro.
I don't know, dude.
Come get some gains.
I don't know about that.
No, dude, you gotta get gains. You gotta be massive.
Yeah.
And you get all these little dudes, but like these dudes that feel disenfranchised. And you hear all these songs that are like, yeah, bitches in the whatever, I'm gonna fuck me a couple.
Right.
And you're like, oh, okay, like that's what the alphas listen to.
Is that what success is?
I guess, oh man, like I should put my stuff away and be more like this. And it just, I don't know. I growing up and seeing it and like seeing women who I see now are feminists talk about like apple bottom jeans and like they love it.
Yeah.
But is that empowering or is they being objectified? That's a song about objectifying women. At the end of the day, it's like, do you think that they're trying to be like, oh, her body is so respectable. Oh man, what a fertile woman. It isn't about that. It's about, damn, look at this bitch in the club. I'm gonna fuck her. She came here to get fucked. To me, that's what, you know what I mean? Like, I see this, that's what I'm going for.
That's what I would take away from that bottom jeans too. It's like,
or like any like, and those are on the radio.
Yeah.
Those are distributed to children. They might have an explicit label on them, and they get a couple words reversed in the fucking thing, but it doesn't. There's nothing to do with that. Like that, we're missing a whole part of like kids are just absorbing this.
Oh, I don't even have my fucking wallet. God damn it! What am I doing?
I don't know.
I'm so stupid. I'm such a stupid boy. There's not another turn for so long.
What are you talking about? One right here.
Oh, this is that chevron right there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But either way, growing up and just seeing that and really not being able to unsee that that's what's being taught is really hard.
Yeah.
Because I never was with it, and I never could get behind music for a long time of my own. And like I started listening to fucking indie music because it's about fucking being sad, or it's about being in love with somebody that doesn't love you. It's about seeing the imperfections in yourself and not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's about things that people feel they can't talk about with their dad, or they can't talk about with their friends. It's like, I feel like a shitty person because I made this mistake, or like, I'm happy and don't know how to fucking express that. I never had heard any music like that before. I was like, wow, like this speaks to me in a way that like is more impactful. Like I listened to Dodos and like talking about how he keeps on fucking losing in relationships and how he feels like and it makes him feel bad because he feels like he should be doing more. He's like, I'm going to save you, but I can't because I keep burning myself. And what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this without you? I'm not even a person. And I'm like, wow, I'm dealing with these things and no one talks about this. No one talks about this. Thank you. Somebody finally. Like, and why isn't this on the radio? Why isn't this the thing that's being distributed?
It's not digestible enough.
I think it was pretty fucking digestible.
Like, evidently not, otherwise it would be on the radio, right? It's not appealing enough. It's not as accessible, right? Like the only shit that plays on the radio.
It's not Katy Perry Firework.
God bless that song.
Empowering
Don't
women.
You dare
but this is the thing. Empowering women to be fucking go out there, fucking get it. You are a fucking firework. I don't care what.
Well, I don't think that Katy Perry's Firework. Listen, you want to talk about Firework? I don't even know that Firework is gender specific. Okay?
Yeah, it
says you.
Matt, right? Tell your stepdad that you love Katy Perry's Firework, and that it really took you to a place where you could be yourself for the first time.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not gonna fucking happen.
It's not as the
it's
toxic masculinity. Be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I learned a life lesson from the Queen of Pop. You think that's a fucking thing that boys are going to be able to bring to their friends?
Yeah, you think that a lot of 13-year-old boys are going up to 13-year-old boys, but dude, you got to hear this new Katy Perry.
Katy Perry changed my life.
But do you think that we're taking the appropriate steps towards a world that can have a situation like that can have 13-year-old boys talking to other 13-year-old boys?
Oh, I think so.
I think so too. I feel like we are stepping further and further away from toxic masculinity.
Oh, I think we're getting by yards every day.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really excited about that because I remember being young and like for example, like if I was riding around with my friends, I would never put on a music.
Yeah.
You know? I would never there were certain kinds of music that I wouldn't put on. Or I wouldn't talk to them. Like I had Bratz dolls when I was a kid. And I remember it's pretty fucking gay, right? But I remember, but I wasn't fucking, I don't know what it was. I liked, it was The Sims to me, you know? And I liked like living a life to this, because I think the attraction to it was that they were like normal people. Yeah. And the inverse, the toys for boys were like soldiers. Yeah, super shredded soldiers. And so by playing around with these like, these girl toys, I was instead able to like draw my own narratives that because I was such a theater kid, I would like, oh, this guy disagrees with this guy, or these girls are all upset about this thing. And I was able to complex things. Yeah, I was able to tell stories that had a lot of depth to them.
Oh, dude.
Toys that kind of fell into that and helped support that.
Trust me, I was in the same boat. I mean, I think because you can't just have all dude toys. You got to have it, because I would talk through my toys, and I thought that no one else did that. Yeah. Until I was like 12.
Yeah.
And you can't have a complex story with all fucking dudes.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't work. It's like, okay, like, yeah. And you get like the more asexual toys like Legos. Or whatever, because it doesn't matter if you have female Legos, because they're just
the same.
They're
but all
fucking
these stumpy, ugly little fucking rectangles.
But I always felt weird, like doing like a girl voice, or doing like I would feel extra shitty, like oh, I hope no one comes in right now because like I need to say this because it's a part of the story I'm playing.
Whenever I was playing with those toys and I saw somebody walking across the street, regardless of their gender, I would like try to hide them, and I remember playing with a girl. I played these like with these Bratz dolls with a girl, and she was like, "Why are you hiding this?" Whenever somebody would walk by, and I would like wasn't even able to articulate what was happening to me, And I think that hopefully we keep stepping towards a world where kids don't have to feel so fucking terrified.
Well, if your son's playing with a Bratz doll, what are you gonna say?
I'm going to say, hey, what's the latest fucking Bratz doll that just came out?
Exactly.
Don't you wish you had that, you little bitch? Get a C on your report card.
Pussy.
And I'll buy you a fucking Bratz doll bus that has a hot tub in it.
Exactly.
Costs $300.
Yes. No, and that's the whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you already are the thing that's moving towards.
Yeah.
You and yourself. And I know so many dudes that in themselves have seen these stupid things that are passed down that just don't survive. It's like there's not California condors.
Do you need to stop at
anymore.
home for anything, Matt? I realize. Okay.
There's not a lack of condors because we hunted them. It's because the food they used to eat was mammoths. And there's nothing big. California condors.
They used to eat mammoths?
Yeah, that's how old condors are.
Wow.
They've existed so long that their food source has gone extinct.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you know more than you know.
Fuck. I missed a FaceTime call from my GF.
Who?
Krat.
Doesn't matter.
Kratlin?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember like playing like House with like like a female friend.
Yeah. I remember playing House too.
Dude, House was fun as fuck.
Yeah,
and I go to school like next day and tell all my buddies.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh yeah, me and her were playing House. I was like, that's fucking gay, bro.
I know,
pussy.
dude. I was playing fucking Madden.
And I was like, I was kidding, dude. We played Halo all day.
Yeah, me and this girl played Halo and then fucked. You're like 8 years old.
I'm like 7 years old.
Yeah, to tie that in, it's like the ideologies can only feed on things that pick them up, and if you know them to be false, they will die out. It's like anything that ideas are so alive in their own way, and they feed off of your insecurities or your success, your failures, anything like your ideas are like the reason there's toxic masculinity is because men have been in charge for too long. Domineering, warlike men claimed everything and eradicated any feminine anything. And we're now at a point where we can step back from that enough to say, oh man, like
maybe this isn't the right
turning point
to go on living.
Yeah, maybe this doesn't make any sense. I'm tired of having to probably run around with friends. I'm tired of hiding my Bratz dolls.
Yeah, I am. What am I doing here?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I was looking at the...
JD?
I was looking at the...
parked over there?
Who's JD, dude?
Who?
I don't know. Some bitch I live with.
Whoa, you're in trouble, dude.
Oh, you guys
You
didn't
said
hear
it.
that. Oh no, it's on the thing! I love my wife!
Yeah, you're on record, dude.
Yeah, that wasn't toxically masculine.
You're going to fucking jail.
Well, this has been Nitro Ride.
Nitro Ride.
Beat your own. Hey there. This is Cosmos.
And this is Coyote.
And thank you for checking us out.
Yeah, this is our first Nitro Ride ever. It's a little rough around the edges. This is before we even hit our aliases. We had a little guest star as well. Our good friend Matt, who will henceforth be known as Red, I think.
Yes, Red or some sort of chicken nugget.
Yeah. But yeah, be sure to check us out. We're gonna upload a few more, hopefully sooner rather than later. Eventually, a website's gonna be up, and that's gonna have links to different social medias and a Patreon as well.
Until now, check us out on YouTube for more. Feed us in.